What's going on, guys? John here from What's Spinning. We're here today to talk about the new Bring Me the Horizon album, Amo. Bring Me the Horizon, UK-based metalcore band. Now, not from listening to this album, but these guys for years have been a metalcore band. Really good one for a while, too. In the early days of their arrival on the scene, people were really hyping these guys up to me as the next big thing in metalcore, and I listened to their debut, Count Your Blessings, and my god, I thought these guys were dated upon arrival. So bland, so cheesy. The breakdowns were ridiculously tame. To me, I just kind of felt like anybody could have written these tracks at the time. I honestly feel like that. But with their next album, Suicide Season, I felt like Bring Me the Horizon had really started turning themselves around. They brought in some more electronic elements and started really pushing themselves into a much more genuinely progressive metalcore act. The songs were catchy, they were still really aggressive though, and most of all, frontman Ali Sykes just really sounded like he was so much more in control of Bring Me the Horizon's sound. Bring Me the Horizon just continued to get bigger and bigger, eventually releasing one of my favorite metalcore albums of like the last 10 years, Sempiternal. It is just a wildly creative and intense metalcore album that I really don't have much bad things to say about. Yes, it's a little overblown in parts, but come on, man, it's fun. But with their last album, 2015's That's the Spirit, I started feeling a little weary about the future of Bring Me the Horizon. It was bloated, it was cheesy, and most importantly, the electronics had really taken over in a big way, too much so. Now, it's been a while since we've heard from Bring Me the Horizon. Now, these singles that they've been dropping have ranged from really genuinely interesting and genre-defying to like really awful. So going into this album, I was genuinely curious. So let's chat about it. This album starts off with I apologize if you feel something, and it's something that I really honestly wasn't expecting. It's a genuinely atmospheric and moody intro. It's also going much more in an electronic direction, but not really anything that they've pushed into before. Like, I'm actually kind of getting some One O Tricks Point Never vibes listening to this intro. But it's honestly Ali Sykes' vocals here that I'm not 100% into. I'm just not really feeling this soulful intro right now. And it's sad because, to be honest, outside of that, there's some really cool stuff going on here. The racing synths, the graceful strings, I actually think that there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. I just kind of wish that vocally, Ali did a little something different here. But I don't completely hate this. It certainly shows that Bring Me the Horizon is in a very experimental and different kind of mood here. But then this album really kind of takes off in a big way with Mantra. It's a track that honestly has really grown on me since the first time I heard it. Hearing Ali take on his more vicious, much more aggressive vocal styling is genuinely refreshing here. And yes, some of these lyrics are a little bit on the cheesy side, I'm warning you now. But a catchy rock tune at the end of the day is still a catchy rock tune, and this chorus is actually gold. But I have to warn you, if you're looking for the old style of metalcore, Bring Me the Horizon, you're not going to find it here. You're honestly not even going to find it on this entire album. So if you're not down with some progression, you might just want to keep walking. Nihilist Blues, on the other hand, embraces dance pop of all things and goes down a completely different path. And yes, that's going to scare a lot of people off. But it's actually really classy in a way, and I actually really love that element of dark wave underneath it all. Once again, some of these lyrics, oh boy, are they corny. But if you can get past that, this is a really interesting direction for Bring Me the Horizon and not a bad tune at all. This chorus is absolutely filled with this pulsating beat and some rushing drums. And at first, I looked at this track and I said, you know, what the hell is Grimes doing here? She's so much better off. But honestly, between her and Bring Me the Horizon, they have really great chemistry together. I'm excited to hear it. If you're an old school Bring Me the Horizon fan, Wonderful Life might actually get on your good side. I like just how vicious this riff is and how aggressive Ali comes off in this vocal performance. Like, compared to some of the poppier tracks here, this track is beefy as hell. Now, this is still very far from your traditional metalcore sound, and yes, this kind of sounds tailor-made for a wrestling video game, but I'm totally in for this, and the horns at the end is a nice unexpected twist. Later tracks like Why You Gotta Kick Me When I'm Down actually captivate me quite a bit too. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily the sound I was expecting to hear, but it's genuinely really dark and much moodier than some of the poppy tracks here. And I feel like I keep saying this, but yeah, there's some cheesy elements here. Like in this case, this children's chorus, like it's a little goofy, but it's times like this where I feel like Bring Me the Horizon is at the very least pushing in the right direction. And it's in moments like this that Ali just comes off so much more believable. It's really refreshing. But oh boy, when this album is bad, it is really, really bad. Like, take In the Dark, for example. This track is just so flimsy. I feel like in moments like this, Bring Me the Horizon are in this kind of weird limbo where they don't even know what sound they want to go for. It's not the heavy sound that they've mastered, but it's really not even that catchy either. And it just ends up coming off in this limbo, and it's a mush, and it's just really boring. It's just the sort of faceless and sad tune that I kind of thought they had left behind by now. Medicine is just absolutely awful, and it's so bad that initially, when I heard it weeks ago, I almost just wrote this album off completely and didn't listen to it. Here, it just, everything comes off so angsty, but like in a fake way, like they're trying just so desperately hard to be cool. I don't get it. And the result just comes off just as goofy and faceless as some of their early songs. There's nothing even genuinely heavy about this, and the chorus is so damn overblown. It's times like this where I kind of sort of get some of the hate that Bring Me the Horizon gets from people. And sadly, Sugar, Honey, Ice, and Tea is absolutely pathetic. Of all the cheesy and ridiculous tracks here, this is by far the worst. I actually really don't mind some of the dark atmosphere here. I think that's pretty cool. But once again, Ollie just sounds like he's in this limbo. He's not coming off nearly as vicious, but this just isn't a catchy tune, so it's not like he's even going for a more pop sound. It's just this in-between mush. And that chorus, I'm sorry, that is literally one of the most lame metalcore choruses I've heard in years. And then we have Mother Tongue. No, thank you. Like, I feel like Bring Me the Horizon can very easily write a ballad, but Ollie sounds like he wrote this in 4 minutes. Sadly, like, I really want to like this album, because there are times here that Bring Me the Horizon, may not be like rewriting any books or anything, but are at least genuinely trying something new and sticking with it. There's another couple of very interesting experiments here. For one, we have Ouch, which is this really interesting interlude for the most part. It's pretty cool. Like, I have to say, they're really sticking with the more electronic vibes of this album. It's not a bad interlude. There's some great production and some booming beats, and it's very hectic. I honestly just wish there was a little more to it. And I honestly have a lot of the same feelings towards Fresh Bruises later. Once again, very hard to place, murky atmosphere is pretty damn cool. But once again, it's just so safe of a track. Like, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but this could have been an actually interesting tune. Like, this wouldn't have been a bad regular track with some vocals. Like, sure, a couple of vocals do pop in here and there, but without like a strong writing, this is just, a little directionless. But still, I can groove to it. It's certainly not bad. And honestly, heavy metal featuring Rozelle late in the album is a pretty heavy tune. I really like it. Hell, there's almost like an industrial vibe here. I'd actually like to hear a lot more of that. You see, it's at moments like this that Bring Me the Horizon. They just seem so much more confident. They just seem like this is where they should be right now. And while honestly, I don't think Rozelle's verse here is like absolutely necessary, but still it's far from bad. I'd even say I'd like to hear more of this sound. And then this album ends off with I Don't Know What to Say, and to be honest, I don't really know what to say about it. It's very middle of the road once again. The strings here are really pleasant. As a matter of fact, as far as like the composition goes, this is actually a pretty sweet finale. But I personally, it's just me, I feel like Ollie has a real long way to go as far as presenting some ballads. Like, the instrumental towards the end gets seriously epic, but Ollie just can't keep control of his performance. So I'm on the fence with this album. I think that when Bring Me the Horizon are on, they're doing some genuinely genre-pushing stuff and coming off, there's still a lot of tracks here that I would rather listen to than half of what passes for metalcore these days. And it makes me excited to hear more of Bring Me the Horizon in the future. But I still feel like they need to narrow down their sound a little bit. The electronics are fine. The ballads, need some work. But still, there's a lot of this album that's a lot of limbo, a lot of in-between, where Bring Me the Horizon kind of come off more poppy than there's other heavy tracks. I feel like they have to find a sort of medium at places. But for me, I'm feeling a strong 6 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the review, be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what you want me to chat about in the future. Have a good day, guys.